Nelson Mandela's journey toward becoming one of the most respected moral leaders of the 20th century began far from politics, in a small village called Mavezo in South Africa. He was born in 1918 into the Thembu royal family, not with wealth or privilege as many imagine, but with traditions that emphasized responsibility, community, and service. As a boy, Mandela grew up herding cattle, running barefoot through the hills, and listening to elders tell stories from African history. One of the first ideas that shaped him came from these village councils, where community disputes were settled. The chief listened to everyone before making a decision. Years later, Mandela said this taught him that leadership meant listening first. When Mandela was 12, his father died, and his life changed dramatically. He was sent to live with Chief Jungan Taba, the acting king of the Thembu people. Suddenly, he entered a world of order, education, and preparation for leadership. There, he attended one of the best mission schools available to Black students at the time. Discipline, reading, and public speaking became central to his upbringing. As a teenager, he discovered books that opened his mind to the world outside the Thembu kingdom. Biographies of African kings, histories of resistance, and stories of people who fought injustice. These readings planted the idea that oppression was not destiny, it could be challenged. Mandela went to Fort Hare University, one of the only institutions where Black South Africans could receive higher education. It was there, in his early 20s, that he first experienced organized political resistance. Students protested unfair rules, and Mandela joined them. When he refused to back down, he was expelled. It was the first major act of defiance in his life. To avoid an arranged marriage planned by the Thembu leadership, Mandela fled to Johannesburg. The city was harsh but transformative. He worked as a night guard, then a clerk, while finishing his studies. In Johannesburg, he met activists, lawyers, and thinkers who challenged racial injustice. He saw firsthand the brutality of apartheid, the forced removals, the pass laws, and the everyday humiliation faced by Black South Africans. These years shaped him. He studied law, became one of the few Black lawyers in Johannesburg, and joined the African National Congress, ANC. His youth was marked not by comfort, but by a growing conviction. Apartheid must be resisted through organization, courage, and sacrifice. By the time he reached his mid-30s, Mandela was a central figure in the struggle, leading boycotts, organizing movements, and calling for equality. This path eventually led to his arrest and 27 years in prison. But everything that defined his leadership, his patience, discipline, resilience, and moral clarity had roots in his earlier life. The village councils of his childhood, the discipline of his guardian, the student protests of Fort Hare, and the harsh lessons of Johannesburg. These foundations built the man who, after decades of hardship, would guide South Africa toward freedom.